So we ended our last session in the middle of a dungeon, and I thought for sure that we would just breeze right through it in like an hour, and then I would have to come up with, I would have to I have to move on to the next location or back to the town or something like that. But it's very appropriate that Matt Colville just recently uploaded a video about prepping for a session, and he talked about how he only prepares, a little amount of content. He doesn't go through and read the entire adventure and prep a whole bunch of stuff. And surprise, surprise, he was right. We only went through like those last two fights that lasted the entire 3-hour session. So I noticed that I guess I overprepared. I'm actually we play on Tuesday nights, but I'm actually recording this Thursday morning because after our session on Tuesday night, I actually felt like I needed to get some distance from it before I talked about it. I wasn't in the best frame of mind to discuss it because I think to put a dramatic spin, I think I can say the honeymoon is over. This is the first time that we played that I actually not that I was looking forward to playing, but I wasn't really excited about doing the prep work. I put it off until usually a day or two before, and I guess I wasn't excited about reading the adventure or planning everything and planning all this stuff. No, I still have had fun DMing, but I think it is a sign that this is the newness is starting to wear off a little bit. And it might have been a combination of things. It might have just been it's something I need to be aware of as I move forward, that I need to make sure that I'm not letting down the party just because I am not super gung-ho as I was the first 4 sessions. I also realized I still have a lot of work to do when it comes to balancing encounters. During our previous session, they just breezed through things. Like, I hardly taking any damage. Like, one-shotting everything and barely taking any damage. They killed one fight with 3 goblins before the goblins even got a shot off. So I actually did. I buffed the last 2 encounters. I added an extra goblin to them, thinking just that would be a good way to make the fights more interesting, or actually give the enemies a chance to do something before they just get smashed. But I ended up not having to do it. Once the fights actually started, I realized the encounter, I overestimated how much I had to do. So I actually ended up not including them in the fight, even though they were in my prep notes. So I guess I still have a lot of work to do when it comes to learning encounters and balancing them appropriately. But the big thing I noticed Tuesday night, was how important it is to acknowledge my own biases. I like D&D because I like the idea of heroic fantasy. I like the idea of being a hero, of saving the town, of saving the kingdom, of conquering evil, and being a hero. And I dislike selfishness and cruelty, and I dislike those things in real life, and I also dislike them in the game. Maybe that makes me boring, but I'll just make sure I play a paladin my first time. But I need to make sure that I don't let those preferences influence my DMing. For example, during one of the fights, the players had a chance to ransom back a prisoner from a group of goblins. However, they could have left the dungeon with the prisoner and not had to fight them at all. However, after the first round of negotiations, the party decided they didn't like the terms and just went ahead and attacked. It really bothered me that they did that. I love it when things get resolved without bloodshed. I like the idea of them maybe making an alliance, or them maybe just convincing the goblins to do X, Y, or Z. But just, not everything has to end with a bunch of dead goblins around a room. I'm not sure. I'm usually not the kind of person who wants to give up the secrets of what would have happened, but I will go ahead and say that if the party had negotiated, I would have given them full experience points, and they wouldn't have suffered a near TPK during that fight. But when it came time, but this is where I'm afraid my own biases might have colored my judgment. When the fight started, there were 6 goblins and there were 5 party members. And I had 3 of the goblins attack the barbarian. The barbarian, one of the ones who was uninterested in negotiating, who made aggressive moves to the goblin boss right off the bat. And now it was justifiable. He is the biggest and most imposing member of the party. He was making aggressive moves toward the boss. He had a very large, great axe. So it was, and he was also closest to several of the goblins. So it was justifiable that they attacked him. But at the same time, I'm worried I'm worried that his actions for not wanting to negotiate, for not playing the creative game and just going straight up, kill him. I'm worried that might have affected my playstyle. And then another time during our session, the players came across a series of looted goods, or a series of crates that the goblins had pillaged from caravans, and they knew that these belonged to one of the merchants in town. This is a merchant that they had met and they dealt with, actually. And I was hoping that when that they would be able, they would return the goods, or they would go to the merchant and say, "Hey, we couldn't carry them all back, but we found some of the stuff that has been stolen from your trading caravans." But instead, the party decided to loot them, like crack them all open and take anything of value out of them. And it bothered me that they would do something evil like that. And yes, for those players that are subscribed to this channel, that's an evil action, to steal something from someone. But it really bothered me. I love getting to hang out with my friends, and I think D&D's been a super fun game, and I'm really excited to get to play it. But I gotta admit, during this session Tuesday night, I actually didn't have a lot of fun. Like I said, I got into D&D because I wanted to be heroic. I wanted to be that knight in shining armor. I wanted to save the day, and it wasn't. It actually, wasn't a lot of fun for them to play through this encounter. And I don't want to railroad the players. I know that's a trap word, but I don't want to take away their agency. I don't want to force them to be Boy Scouts just because that's the kind of story I like. But I didn't realize that the players playing differently than I would like would bother me so much. It's just something I'm going to really need to be aware of moving forward, that if I want to keep doing this, if I want to keep running a game, I need to be willing to let the players do evil things. And even though none of them are evil characters, they're not evil characters, but I don't know, it's something I'm going to have to come to terms with if I want to keep playing this. So if y'all have any suggestions, I would welcome them. I know the obvious thing is, suck it up. They're the party. It's my job to make sure that they are having fun. But it's just, I love D&D. I really loved playing D&D, but this was not a fun session for me. So we'll play again in 2 weeks, and we'll see how things go. All right. Thanks again for all your advice and comments so far. You have made this a wonderful learning experience, and I couldn't have done it without you. So until next time, have a great day, and God bless.